Welcome, listeners, to the Lust for Life podcast. These are your hosts, Tennessee and Jake. We are here to just talk about our week and talk about the reflections and discussions that we've had this week. And this is our second week doing this, and we're really, really excited about it. Something that was new for me this week was I went part-time at my job because I am starting my nurse practitioning program at Duke, so that was pretty exciting. Anything new with you, Jake?
We had our first exam being back to school this semester. It was our first one in like the neuro block, so it was a lot of like neuroanatomy, and so study hard for it. It was a hard exam in the sense that we just got back to school not even 2 weeks ago and already have our first exam. So just a lot of information jam-packed, but it went very well, and I was pleased with how it played out.
Yeah, you studied a lot. I'm glad that you were able to, have a good result with that. We are really excited here in North Carolina because when is the first UNC football game? We're so excited. We love college football, but we especially love UNC football.
It's coming up a few weeks, but it's soon. It's the end of August.
It's like, isn't it like next week? I don't know.
Next Thursday.
We're already planning with like our Ironman training to set up the trainers.
Two Thursdays.
Two Thursdays. But we're already planning with our Ironman training to set up the trainers and just like watch college football, which was so fun to do last year. It was like I looked forward to that every week. We like had a fun little meal. We watched it together. It was really fun. So that was kind of our life updates. Today we went on a long bike ride. Went 73 miles on the bike for our Ironman training. Jake and I did it together, and we had some of Jake's medical school friends join at the beginning, and then one dropped off just to do the beginning with us, and then we had someone join later, and they finished the ride with us. But then there was one medical school friend that finished the whole race, or not the whole race, but the whole workout with us, which was pretty cool. But it's just fun to have a group. Like, Jake and I were separated this summer because he was doing Vanderbilt research and I was here working, so we weren't able to bike together. So we both were like biking like by ourselves, which is probably not the safest thing, and I don't know how many times I'll do that again. But it makes the biggest difference to be with people, and it was really evident of that today. Just having kind of people coming in and out, and you kind of chat on the bike a little bit when you catch your breath, but then when you get to a hill, everyone like knows we just gonna pound this hill. We can't talk because it's so exhausting, but it was just a lot of fun.
No, it's kind of interesting. Two things. One, we talked about just a lot of like Alzheimer's and dementia stuff this week in school, and also like CTE, those like concussion brain injuries. And it was interesting. They said that if you have social isolation, it worsens your chance, it like increases your chance of developing that. And so, in order to make it like to keep a healthy brain, it's important to have social interaction with people overall. So, I just barely thought of that when you were saying it.
Which it can be hard in today's world to just keep your social interactions to just social media and just kind of stay in your lane. It can be hard to get out and socialize and, do different things with people. Yeah,
and it's, I don't know, social media really that social? Not really. So, yeah, I don't think that cuts it. But, no, this morning was really cool. One, because we did 73 miles, and that's a long time on a bike. That's like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's like over 4 hours.
Well, we were a little less, I think. Oh. I'd have to relook at the time, but it just depends on how fast you're going. I'm pretty sure we did it in less than 4 hours, but like that's a decent ride. And so one of our friends, this was his like third time ever on a bike, and so he's the one that started off at the beginning. And so his first time he did it like a flat Outer Banks ride. He said he averaged like 15 miles an hour for like 15 miles or something. He joined us again last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's really hilly here in Chapel Hill.
You gain a lot of elevation.
And he did like 15 miles at like a 16 mile an hour pace. And so this was his third ride ever. Those were the stats from his previous two. Very hilly today, even more hilly than the previous ones we did. He did 25 miles at like a 17 and a half mile an hour pace. Yeah. So it was so like, he kept saying the whole time, like, oh, not the whole time, but he was like, oh, thanks for like waiting with me and like stuff like this.
And we're like, bro, you're like doing good.
Yeah, but in my head, like, yeah, we did go a little slower than we like would have, but I would have much rather, like, I still got a workout in, and I much rather would like be able to help someone else and like see him get so much better.
I feel like his presence, I know this sounds weird, did more for us than if we just went on our own. Like, just having him there, like, watching him, work hard and watching him, improve. I would rather have that than any,
Yeah, not from a workout standpoint, but like, I mean, I'm not like competing in anything besides just competing against myself and against life, and so I liked being able to like help him. And same with our other friend. He joined us at the beginning, and the farthest he's ever ridden was 56 miles, and he did that at like a 17 or 16 something mile an hour pace. And so we did our 73 at an 18 mile an hour pace, which last week Tennessee and I did it at a 19 mile an hour pace. So Tennessee and I did it at a mile an hour slower than last week, but for this friend, he joined us the whole time. He was able to set a record, farthest he's ever ridden and fastest he's ever ridden. And again, he said the same thing, like, sorry you guys had to like wait for me, but like I appreciated you guys doing this. Like, I feel bad if I like ruined your workout or anything, but I don't think it ruined the workout. Like, I enjoyed being able to see other people like, get better.
Yeah, work hard.
And there's like plenty opportunities to, I mean, it's our long ride day, so I mean, I'm not really focused.
It's freaking boring. Like, sometimes it's boring. You like need friends. You really do.
But it's good. Like, if I was like competing and everything, yeah, that'd be different. But I'm not like pro. I'm not.
No, and like when we say like they held us back, we really wouldn't have gone that much faster. Like we were going pretty fast today, and like I don't know. For me, I have been feeling a little burnt out with like biking because of how much we've had to bike lately. And so to have other people join us on the bike really does like motivate me a little bit more. Like I love like biking with Jake and I love biking by myself, but like sometimes like it's nice to switch it up and have people join, and because I'm more motivated when you're in a group setting, you're like more motivated to push each other and more motivated to work harder for each other, and instead of just being by yourself, which is interesting, and you almost think it shouldn't be that way, but I felt like that, like even though I mean we didn't really go even that much slower than we would have, but I just felt like so much like more motivated throughout the ride. It was so much more fun. Like I was like, man, I can't wait to do that again. Like, but if I were to do that by myself, I'd be like, this sucks. I can't wait to get home. I hate my long bike rides. But like today, it was fun. And so like when I say they did more for us than like for our workout than they think they did, it's just nice to be in a group. That's what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. Is it's just, I personally have felt a little more burnt out, just out grinding by myself for hours at a time. I mean, I should be able to do that for myself, but sometimes it's just nice to have a group that just pushes each other and like wants each other to hit those PRs and, work harder.
Yeah, that reminded me, so in Nashville, it was like the same road that I would ride and train on, and it was awesome. The Natchez Trace, like a famous bike road. And it was great. And I would go out there by myself is how I started off. And I felt like I was giving it everything I had, like riding hard for these like 70 miles or whatever, however far, somewhere over 100 miles that I did. And then one time I met up with this guy and we were about the same pace. And we went out and rode with each other and like, okay, let's push each other today. And like what Tennessee said, I thought I was doing like good. And then being with him, me and this guy, we both ended up averaging a mile an hour faster than we ever did by ourselves. And it was like a week after we just did that ride by ourselves. So there was no like real difference. We didn't really get faster. Our training didn't do anything crazy, but just being in the presence of each other to be able to push each other through those times was awesome. It made us so much faster. And I'd love to be able to get to the point, and I was kind of like taken back at the point where, wow, why was I unable to do that by myself?
Right.
Like, why was I mentally not able to, why did I mentally need someone else to get to this point? But I think it shows like the power that's with people and being in a group. But I would like to get to that point where like if I am by myself, I can give it my 100% because I thought I was, but obviously I wasn't.
But I feel like you can't shame yourself too much for that because A, I have been there as well. I do better with groups. But B, I feel like that's just honestly like how life is designed by God. Like, if you think about it, we're meant to do this life in groups. We're meant to work together. There's reasons that science shows that people are happier in groups, people perform better in groups, people, have happier lives when they socialize. Like, I don't think it's just purely like something you should shame yourself with your work ethic on. I just think that it's naturally, we just like packs and we like to work in groups. We like to be in communities. And so I think that's just another piece of evidence that we can take and realize that like we are meant to be in a group. We're meant to not just go through life on our own. We're more powerful as humans when we, are in groups and have, value in groups as well.
It is not good for man to be alone. That's a good point.
So I just feel like you just can't shame yourself too much for that because I feel like, even Olympic athletes have a whole team behind them. There's a whole team there. Like, True. Olympic athletes hire people to work out with them to push them, and they have a whole, track team. Like, there's a team there, which even though it's an individual sport, the swimming is an individual sport, they still have like the U.S. swim team. Like, there's still a team there. And so I think that they do that on purpose because if we all were like, oh yeah, I'm just, Jake from the USA instead of Jake part of the USA swim team, we would perform way less well. I know that sounded funny, but we would not perform as well. And so I think people know that too. We do better in groups. And similar to what Jake was saying earlier, I mean, I thought I was giving it everything when Jake was in Nashville on the bike, and I don't even know what I was averaging. I was like happy to be in the 17s. Happy, very content. Holding 17 for like 40 miles was like bliss. Like, I was like, wow, I'm really cooking. Like, I'm doing well. And then as soon as Jake came home, we were like averaging 19 miles an hour for 60, 70 miles. So the only thing that changed was Jake came home. And so that's just another, evidence that you just do better in groups. And I don't think that's anything to be shameful about.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I agree.
But today was just like really fun to be able to see this group of, students. We were all students in this group. Just come together, wake up freaking early on a Saturday morning after they went to school all week. I did not go to school because my school doesn't start yet. But after working so hard all week, we all got together, woke up so early, and we just we did something we honestly didn't want to do. Is biking actually the most enjoyable thing? It's fun, but does everyone love to say, I love it when my legs are just burning all the time for 4 hours straight? Like, that sounds so fun. No, that's not really that fun. What's so cool about that is we all chose to wake up really early on the weekend and do something really, really hard together. Do something really, really hard to help us, kick off the weekend and continue that motivation and continue that drive. Because as soon as you, hit that snooze button on the alarm clock, you're going to do it once, you're going to do it twice, you're going to do it 3 times, and you're kind of out of that habit. So all of us got together today, solidified a habit, did something hard that, no one really chooses to do out of pure love for it. As much as we do love biking, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I hate road biking.
Yeah, none of us are I do love biking, but it's not comfortable, if that makes sense. So it's just cool that
being on a bike for 4 hours hunched over.
Yeah, your neck hurts.
Not ideal.
But just doing it together, and doing something hard together. It just is really cool that none of these students knew each other a year ago, and now they're just such good friends that they're willing to do this.
Yeah, no, it's been really fun. And then we had, someone even joined us for the last half of the ride, and she was supposed to be there at where she said, maybe I'll join the beginning, maybe the second half, I don't know. But we didn't hear from her in the morning, so then we all took a turn calling her in the morning, and then she finally answered and came over and met us for the second half.
Well, her alarm didn't go off. And so she was she had just woken up when we called her. So, but we were all supporting. We're oh my gosh, you've got to come out. Come on. Because she was feeling really bad that she didn't set the alarm and totally was not there when she told us she was going to be there, but we were all like super supportive and still got her out there, and it was really fun to have each other. And we even met a couple friends on the road who joined us for like our routes and got to know them a little bit. So it's just cool to be a part of that community.
Yeah, again, just going to the groups. Groups are good.
Yeah, groups are good, especially when you're doing something hard. When you're doing something hard in life, so it's so much better to do it in a group rather than just kind of endure it by yourself. But that was kind of our main reflection of the week, yeah?
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to say.
I mean, that was our big takeaway, and we just had so much fun biking this morning, and we'll continue to, push each other and hopefully continue to be part of groups and continue to know that groups are good, because sometimes they're not convenient, but they are good. And so hopefully we can learn that lesson even more today and, apply it too. But thank you all for listening. We will do episodes every Tuesday. For those who are newer, this is just kind of Jake and I's way of journaling as a couple. And it's something that we can do together to build our bond. And we always love having stimulating conversations together. And it's beautiful that we're able to record them. And we just want to share them with everybody if people want to follow along. But we'll record and post every week, and we'll post them Tuesday mornings. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.